Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for Charlottetown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish to advise that I'll be sharing my time with the member from Malpeque. Mr. Speaker, it's a pleasure for me to rise to speak to the Jobs and Growth Act, part of the Economic Action Plan 2012, and to talk about how the Economic Action Plan 2012 is playing out in my province. And just a little refresher for those here, Prince Edward Island is the birthplace of Confederation. It is still a province, and thereby an equal partner in Confederation, although sometimes we wonder. We have 140,000 people. We have a seasonal economy. Our biggest industries are agriculture, the fisheries, and tourism. There's not many potatoes being dug in January, there's not many fish being caught, and there's not many tourists landing in Prince Edward Island through the winter. And as a result, about 27,000 of our citizens through the winter months rely on the employment insurance system. The second largest employer in my province is the Government of Canada. 1 in 20 of all workers are employed by the Government of Canada. So the economic policies of this government, as they relate to the civil service and as they relate to employment insurance, are absolutely critical. I want to start with the policies of the government with respect to employment insurance and talk about 3 of them in particular: the working while on claim provisions that we've heard so much about from the member from Cape Breton-Canso, the frequent user provisions that are part of Economic Action Plan 2012, and something that was very quietly done last month, the changes to a pilot program for high employment areas. And I want to tell the House a story about a gentleman by the name of Roger Byers. And Roger Byers has given me permission to use his last name. He wants his story to be told. In fact, Roger Byers is going to be at a rally on Saturday in front of the office of the Minister for the Canada Revenue Agency, and he's going to be telling his story in front of a large crowd. Roger Byers is a real person. He lives in a real apartment on Hillsborough Street. He works for the City of Charlottetown sweeping streets. He makes $17 an hour. He works 6 months of the year, 40 hours a week. In addition to that 6-month-a-year full-time job, Roger Byers calls bingo at a local bingo hall. He works 20 hours a week. So for 6 months of the year, Roger Byers works 60 hours a week. He is not lazy. For the other 6 months of the year, he's working at the bingo hall, making $10 an hour, $200 a week, call him bingo. Under the provisions of Economic Action Plan 2012, $100 of his $200 a week is clawed back through the winter. Now, late on a Friday afternoon on a break week, the government announced that they're going to make changes to the working while on claim provisions so that Mr. Byers had the opportunity to elect under the old rules, which was a much smaller clawback, only about $6 a week. However, those changes will come into effect January, February, March of the new year. So, Mr. Byers, through the winter, will be in a situation where 1/2 of his wages will be clawed back. That's how he gets through Christmas. Thank you very much, Action Plan 2012. This Economic Action Plan 2012 also targets frequent users of the employment insurance system. We have 27,000 of them. This will have a devastating effect on our economy. There is a trend in this country of people moving from small communities into bigger centers and people moving from east to west. Apparently, it's not happening fast enough for this government. And the economic policies of this government will gut small communities, it will gut eastern communities, it will gut places that rely on seasonal economies, as it will in my community. And finally, I want to talk about something that just happened last month. There was a pilot project to help in areas of high unemployment, such as my province. Quietly, without notice to the participants, without notice to the provinces, this program was cut. What this means is for people who rely on unemployment in areas of high unemployment, such as Prince Edward Island, they will get 5 weeks less of benefits. Their benefits will run out in the middle of the winter. Now, if it's not bad enough for the citizens of Prince Edward Island, what about the government? I mean, these people are invariably headed for the welfare rolls. So here's what we have. We have a downloading of a social program to the next level of government. The provincial government is going to have to look after these people on the welfare rolls. But, Mr. Speaker, that's entirely consistent with what the Prime Minister said in 1995, that caring for the poor is a provincial responsibility. Now that he has his majority, we see that being played out. I wish to invite all honourable members to the rally that will be taking place in front of the office of the Minister for the Canada Revenue Agency on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We expect a big crowd. We're going to have the leader of the Liberal Party there, and it would be great. It would be great for certainly for members on the government benches to come and see how the economic action plan is working on the ground in Prince Edward Island. And I'd very much appreciate seeing some of you there and having you listen to how your policies are working. I indicated at the outset that the second largest employer in Prince Edward Island is the Government of Canada. And at page 221 of the budget, there was an indication that when the civil service cuts took place, that no region would be unfairly treated, that the regional distribution of civil service jobs would be largely unaffected. And the cuts to the civil service across this country were 4.8%, but not in Prince Edward Island, 10 to 12%. So when the axe was applied to the civil service, it was applied in the province of Prince Edward Island twice. And this is a continuation of a very disturbing trend that we've seen in recent years. In recent years, the civil service has actually grown. Across Canada from 2009 to 2011, there's been a growth in civil service jobs in this country of about 2.9%, 5.1% in Ottawa, but not in Prince Edward Island. It's declined by 3.5%. So the budget was a further insult to a gradual withdrawal of jobs from my province. And it is a direct hit on our economy. As I indicated, we have a seasonal economy. We have 27,000 people who are dependent on employment insurance for their livelihood in the winter. Some of the good-paying jobs in my province are federal civil service jobs. And they're leaving at a rate twice the national average because of the economic policies of this government. But worse than the impact on the civil servants themselves and on the businesses they frequent in my community is what's happening to frontline services. In every province in this country, if you are a taxpayer and you want to talk to a live person about your income tax return, you can go into a Canada Revenue Agency office and speak to a live person, but not in Prince Edward Island. If you are a veteran and you want to talk to a live person at a district office, you can do that in every province in this country, but not in Prince Edward Island. If you are an immigrant and you want to talk to a live person about your situation, you want to talk to somebody who's employed with Citizen Immigration Canada, you can do that in every province in this country, but not in Prince Edward Island. Mr. Speaker, Prince Edward Island is still a province. The economic policies of this government are punishing Prince Edward Island. In this country, this is not right. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.